This video will go over the brachial nerve plexus. As you can see from this lovely picture, the brachial nerve plexus is a hot mess of nerves, all tangled and ooey gooey and crisscrossing in and out. We don't want to learn from this picture. Instead, we're going to learn from a schematic diagram that will make it easier for you to learn and understand where the nerves come from. We have different parts of the brachial plexus, starting with the roots, which will be C5 through T1. The trunks, that will be superior, middle, and inferior. Divisions, that will be anterior or posterior. Cords, that will be lateral, medial, or posterior. And finally, some branches, that will be some of the major nerves that you'll see innervating our upper extremity. One way to remember this with a fun mnemonic is real teachers drink cold beer. If you need a more conservative one, then change beer to beverages. So if you can remember this mnemonic, then you can remember the structure that we're about to draw this diagram out. First, I'd like you to write in vertical on the far side of your page the roots from C5 to T1. And remember, even though there's 7 cervical vertebrae, there are 8 cervical nerve roots. So it goes C5, 6, 7, 8, and then T1. Next, I want you to draw a V to connect the first 2, and a V to connect the bottom 2. And the middle one gets a straight line. From the top V that we made, draw a line all the way across your paper. Same for the middle, and same for the bottom. Then we're going to make another V, starting from this top level to the middle, and then connect it to the bottom. And then we're going to make that on the end as well. And then draw a line from where you made your new V. Working backwards, at the end of this line, we're going to draw a Y. On the top portion of this, we're going to make an X. From the top of C5, we're going to draw a vertical line all the way down to the bottom. And make sure C6 and C7 are connected to it. Off of the C5 root, we're going to draw one single line. Then we're going to have 2 lines in this section. And then 1 line in this portion. Down here we will have 3 lines, and in the middle we will have 3 lines. Now all that hobble gobble of roots, trunks, divisions, what are they really? So we know our roots. Now we have trunks that we can visually see. So the top trunk is going to be the superior trunk, middle trunk, and inferior trunk. And the trunk section is going to go from this dotted line to this dotted line. Our next section are the divisions, which are the anterior-posterior divisions. So on the top, we're going to have anterior. On the bottom, we'll have anterior. The middle will have posterior. Or this forward slash will be posterior. This forward slash will be anterior. The backward slash of the X will be posterior. Now we can look at our next section, which will be the cords. This top one will be the lateral cord, posterior cord, and medial cord. finally, we have our last division, which are the branches, which are some of the major nerves coming off of here. And some of our major nerves, this top one is going to be the musculocutaneous nerve. Middle one will be the median nerve. One will be the ulnar nerve. The one sprouting from the Y will be the axillary and the radial nerve. So now we have our sections that you learned at the start: the roots, the trunks, the divisions, the chords, and the branches. So let's clean this up and then look at the specific nerves that we've drawn out here. Man, that looks a lot nicer. All right, so now we're gonna go over the nerves for each thing that we drew. So starting up here off of the C5 root, we're gonna have the dorsal scapular nerve that is innervated by C4 and C5. Next to it, we're going to have the suprascapular nerve, C5 and C6. And next to it, we'll have the nerve to the subclavius, which will also be C5 and C6. And we know it's coming from C5 and C6 because we see the roots join here and then come together in this line on the superior trunk that I just accidentally erased with my finger. So this long vertical line that I had you draw before that connects C5, 6, and 7 is your long thoracic nerve that's innervated by roots C5, 6, and 7. So now moving on to the chords, off the lateral cord, we'll have the lateral pectoral nerve. Convenient. Lateral cord, lateral pectoral nerve, which will be C5, 6, and 7. Down here off the medial cord, guess which pectoral nerve it'll be. It'll be the medial pectoral nerve. And this will be innervated by C8 and T1. Now, one thing I forgot to mention earlier is we'll have two cutaneous nerves coming off of the brachial plexus. So off of the medial cord, we're going to have the medial brachial cutaneous nerve. And next to it, we'll have the medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve. All right, back to our other nerves. We'll go here to our posterior cord, where we'll have the upper and lower subscapular nerves. That will be innervated by the nerve roots C5 and 6. In between them, we'll have the thoracodorsal nerve that will be innervated by C7 and 8. Branching off of the posterior cord, sprouting into this Y, are two of the major branches. We have the axillary nerve and the radial nerve. Axillary is from C5 and 6 roots. Radial will be from 6, 7, and 8. Finally, over here on our branches, we'll have the musculocutaneous nerve that is from the roots C5, 6, and 7. In the middle here, we'll have the median nerve, middle, median, which combine all of the nerve roots, so C5 through T1. And finally down here we have our ulnar nerve, which is C8 and T1. Now a little tidbit, a little tidbit for these two lines that connect the lateral and medial cords to make the median nerve. This is the lateral root and this is the medial root. They don't innervate anything directly, they are just the pathway to create the median nerve. So here you have it, the brachial plexus. And here's a freeze frame for your references to print or copy.